What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, Mr. Anonymous Nobody, and I'm back with a live stream this Saturday morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Today's topic is why you should never move in with a woman. I repeat, why you should never move in with a woman. Let me be specific when I say that. I did not say do not move a woman in with you. Specifically speaking to you moving into your lady or your woman's residence, either through dating, through unnecessary circumstances, or even through marriage. I'll explain why in detail in a bit. I'm just going to let this sit here for a second and give it a little time for some people to join. I apologize for my tardiness this morning. I am back. For those of you who are tuning in, welcome. All that I ask, if you're here, please like the video, comment below, subscribe if you have not done so, and share this content if you find it entertaining or helpful to someone else. Now, the main topic is, again, as I explained earlier, why you should never move in with a woman. Specifically, move into a woman's place of residence, not move a woman in with you. And I have reasons for that. Now, you see the picture I have off to the side here. I'm pretty sure most guys, when you're considering moving in with a woman, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be great. You know, we're going to lay on the couch and watch movies, and we're going to cook dinners, and look at all the bread I'm going to save. But that is not reality. That's Hollywood. And we've all been victimized by the fairy tale fantasy that Hollywood sells when we make life-altering decisions, and moving in with a woman is a life-altering decision. Things that you don't consider when you move in with said woman is you only see what you gain. You don't necessarily see what you're giving up or relinquishing. And I'll dive into that a little bit later, but I just kind of wanted to put that out there, that we're all guilty of falling for the trick. That, you know, we're going to have this great life. And the thing, let me make a disclaimer. When I make these comments, I'm going to have people say, well, that doesn't apply to everybody. Yes, you're absolutely right. It doesn't apply to everyone. And there are some one-offs and anomalies where it actually works. But I'm speaking in generalities. And generally speaking, This typically doesn't work. How many of you have experienced these situations not working out? Maybe a family member, a coworker, someone you may have crossed paths with, and you learn of the situation and you kind of watch it all unfold. And some of these situations ultimately end up with somebody dying. Like I said, when you get into relationships, it's all about energy, and there's dynamics in said relationship, and these are things that aren't discussed. We, for the most part, look at surface level things, and I try to tell men to look at all things. And like I said, when I get done with explaining why you should not move into a woman's place, hopefully you'll have a better understanding. And those of you who are actually considering this, take these things into consideration before making said decision. I released a video, I don't know, maybe about a year back, and I will link that in the description when we're done here, about the power struggle. And I spoke about dynamics in relationships. Pretty much when you're in a relationship, it's a power struggle. It didn't used to be that way, but it has evolved into that type of dynamic where most of the women seem to be wanting to compete with men. And what the ladies don't understand is men compete with men. Men don't compete with women. And that was a sort of natural order to things, and it worked for a long period of time. But now you have, all of these agendas and movements that has us working against each other instead of working with each other. Like I said before in other videos and live streams, you can't have two captains. And it doesn't take two people to change a tire. Somebody has to lead and somebody has to follow. Right? So let's take a dive into some things you want to think about if you're considering doing this and why you should not do it. I spoke about desperation or unforeseen circumstances that would have you move in with your lady. See, guys, we have this thing called pride. Yeah, this little thing called pride that makes us do things illogically, if that makes sense to you. We all know that most women do move out of their parents' home before men. That has usually been the case. So I guess we feel as men that we have somehow failed if we move out on our own and have to return home. That is a misconception. That is a situation where it's probably best that you swallow that pride, because that pride will put you in a not good situation down the line. Guys, it's okay to reset, chart a new path, and move forward. As we all know, you do not learn through success, you learn through failure. Some failures are worse than others, and some failures are brought on by external forces that you don't have control over, and some that you do. These are one of these failures that you do have control over. So guys, don't let don't let desperation put you into a subservient situation. Okay? Now my next point is when I talk about dynamics and energy. So, there's this power struggle that I also mentioned. When you move in with your woman and it's her place, that power's gone, bro. It's gone. And you may not ever get it back, unfortunately. Think about if you're driving, say you and your lady are driving, right? It's your car, right? Can she tell you to get out of your car? Can she tell you where to drive your car? Can she tell you how to maintain your car or where to get it serviced? No, right. It's not her car. So there you have it, guys, in a nutshell. You relinquish that power. You relinquish that authority. you know? And really, at that point, you know, things like respect, which I tell guys for the most part, that's what you want to chase and not love, because love is an emotion and emotions change like the wind. But respect is respect. Either somebody respects you or they don't. There is no such thing as, oh, I halfway respect this person. No, either you do or you don't. As men, we're more logical, so we deal in more absolutes. And respect is one of those absolutes. Love is not. Especially in the times that we're living in now. If you're still on that hope/love narrative, you're going to lose. Now, how bad you lose depends on the decisions that you make. But if that's what you're leaning on, that's what you're using to guide you as a man, you're going to lose. I'm not saying that you cannot love as a man and that you shouldn't. But that should not be your driving motivation, is what I'm trying to tell you. So back to the main point, I kind of digressed a bit, but when you move in with your woman, you relinquish all power, authority, leadership, and masculinity. Again, this is speaking in generalities. There are always going to be one-offs and anomalies where this situation works, but for the most part, gentlemen, it does not. The same scenario that I gave you about the car. So you move in with your woman, and let's say you want to make some improvements. Guess what? Well, it's her place, so you can't just go do that. She has to sign off on that. What if there's specific things that you want to have in the house? Again, not your call. It's not your place. Like I said, I wholeheartedly feel it's better to just reset than, let's say you have a setback. Maybe you lose your job or something happens to where you're faced with the decision of, damn, do I move with my girl or do I go back home? And I said that pride kicks in and saying, don't go back home. You know, you'll be shamed, you'll be ridiculed, you'll be scrutinized. You'll feel like less than a man. Hence pride, aka feelings. So that was a situation where I feel like you should swallow that and make a more logical decision. Re-strategize, reset, recoup. But don't relinquish your masculinity, your power, your authority by getting yourself into these situations where you're in a subservient role. Because that's going to make you feel even less of a man than if you went home and hit the reset button. Follow me? Another point I want to make about decision to move in with a woman. Think about all the things that you wanted to do personally for yourself, so to speak. All of that becomes secondary because now you're under her roof. And what was your dream or your purpose now becomes hers. It's about what she wants. It's about her dreams. Your desires are pretty much secondary. Do you see where I'm going here? Do you see the domino effect of making said decision? Now, the latter is, you move your woman in with you. She has to play by your rules. She has to adjust to you. And yes, you make the decisions you want to make. And she can either roll with it or bounce. You have that option. But if it goes the other way, you relinquish that. And I know most men like their freedom. If you make that move, it's over, guys. It's over. Staying up all night playing video games, cancel. Playing your music as loud as you want, cancel. Coming and going as you please, cancel. Watching hours of endless sports, cancel. Think about the movie Baby Boy if you've never seen that. I know I'm dealing with a younger audience, but go back and watch Baby Boy. There's a lot of parallels in that particular movie to the topic that I'm talking about with you this morning. I won't go into a deep dive, but I would just advise you to go back and watch that movie and then come back and watch this live stream and then see how they connect. Now, some men that have decided to move in with their woman face the ultimate setback. Some guys end up homeless. Yeah, some guys end up homeless. I'm pretty sure there are a percentage of guys, I don't have any data, but I'm pretty sure there's a percentage of guys that are homeless because they had once lived with a woman. And like I said earlier, when you relinquish that power, that authority, the masculinity, leadership, at any point, she could pull that "it's my house" card. Then what? Then what? When she says that to you, then what? So this narrative here, all of this, when she says that, gone. You're not thinking about that. Now you're in survival mode. Now you're in survival mode. And then after all of that, guess what? You got to go back home. You got to go back home and hit the reset button. But some guys don't even have a home to go back to. So this is why a lot of the content creators talked about as a man getting on your purpose, getting on your grind, because that gives you options, gentlemen. Then you don't have to make a decision between going back home or moving in with your lady. This is why you hear this message repeated constantly. So you have options and you don't have to make those kind of decisions. So believe it or not, your boy, Mr. Anonymous Nobody, yes, me, was homeless at one point in my time on this earth. Because the things that I know now, no one told me. No one told me to stay on my purpose. No one told me to have a contingency plan. No one told me to protect my masculinity. These are all things I had to learn the hard way. As I said, you learn through failure, not success. So I took the plunge and moved in with said woman. It was okay for a while. Just got to save a little bit of bread. Excuse me. But then the tide started to turn. The disrespect started to show. The tingles started to dissipate. And the card of "It's my house" was played. So I was forced with that decision that I spoke about earlier. Move back home or move in with somebody else, particularly another female. Fork in the road. We all come to those at some point in our life. And I was faced with that. So at that point, I decided to follow my instincts. And that's something that I feel that men don't do enough of. Because at the juncture that we're in society, a lot of men are leaning too much on their emotions, aka feminine energy. They don't follow logic. They don't follow their instincts. Because if you talk to anybody that's of an older generation, men specifically, most of them will tell you, listen to your instincts, trust your gut. Because how many times have you said, after the fact, I wish I'd listened to my instincts. I wish I'd followed my instincts. I wish I trusted my gut. But we don't do it. We don't do it because of the things that I've mentioned. Leaning too much on emotions and your feelings and feminine energy. My mantra on this channel is the truth has no emotion. And if you don't take anything from your boy, Mr. Anonymous Nobody, take that with you. When you get ready to make a decision or you get ready to have a conversation, say that to yourself. If someone's giving you some harsh criticism or constructive criticism, say that to yourself. Say the truth has no emotion. And I promise you, the message will be better received than to not do that. So those who have joined us, welcome. We're talking about why a man should never move in with a woman this morning. Thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and open the Streamyard link up if you want to join the conversation. Don't be shy. I love a good conversation. If you look down there in the description box, there's a link for the Streamyard, and then we can go ahead and continue this dialogue. So yeah, back to what I was speaking about how the truth has no emotion. Think about the time, like I said, someone said something to you. In hindsight, was the truth. But originally, when you received it, you did not receive it well. You were angry. You were hurt. You were embarrassed. All three of those words are emotions: hurt, angry, embarrassed. Now, when you strip all of that out, there lies the truth, minus the emotion. So, moving in with a woman as a man is an emotional decision and does not come from a place of logic. And unfortunately, the way we are now with everything reversed, women are acting like men, men are acting like women. The tide is starting to turn, but it's going to take more time. I do see a subtle shift in society, but there's a long way to go. But conversations like these and others are going to help push that to the next level. And the reason I gave my own testimonial is for authenticity. Like I said, I too was in this situation. Most of my content is based on my own life experiences. You know, we talk about things you wish your dad told you. It's kind of what I like to do with this channel. Things that, you know, for my younger guys. And most of you probably grew up without a father in the home. So you didn't have much guidance from the masculine point of view. You were more or less in a single parent household. Well, Mr. Anonymous Nobody checks that box too. Also grew up in a single parent home with no father. But gentlemen, we're at the fork in the road with society right now. There's a lot of chaos amongst us. So these conversations need to keep happening. And honestly, just like I get on the ladies, I got to get on the guys. You know, you can't keep using the excuse that I didn't have a father in the home to why you continue to make poor decisions as a man. Especially now in the age of information where everything's at your fingertips. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody knows how to use Google. Everybody's on YouTube. There's no excuse for it. Seek these things out. Like I say, I'm speaking from a place that you're probably in now because I've been there. Something internally, like I always talk about instinct, something internally is telling you that something just isn't right. That something's off. I have these feelings, but it still doesn't feel right to me. Start with that. Start with that. And if anybody's out there listening and you're unsure of where you want to go exactly, go back and watch my video about how to find your purpose. That was one of my better videos. Go back and watch that video from my younger guys. But like I said, guys, as far as moving in with a woman, I wouldn't do it. Now, again, ultimately, you make your own decisions. You're the leader of your own life. But you can't say you didn't know. You can't say you didn't know what was on the table when you made said decision. Again, if anybody is out there and wants to chop it up with your boy, Mr. Anonymous Nobody, the link to the Streamyard is in the description box. I'll leave that up for about another minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But for those who have joined late, I'll just recap the bullet points that I mentioned earlier regarding reasons why you should not, as a man, move in with a woman. Number one, it's okay to reset. Don't let desperation put you into the subservient situation. Point number one. Point two is you relinquish your power, your authority, your masculinity, and your leadership. That was point two. Point three. Your dreams, aspirations, energy, and purpose end, and it becomes about her energy, dreams, aspiration, and purpose. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, thank you for tuning in this Saturday morning. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And like the video, it helps the channel. Tune in with me on Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday, I will be live streaming again. And we'll keep the conversations going. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, the truth has no emotion. Take care.